Welcome to Wanderlust and Wishes, the podcast where we explore the world one destination at a time.
I'm Julie.
And I'm Krystle.
As travel agents with fantastical vacations, we are here to share our passion for travel and help you turn your wanderlust into reality.
From hidden gems to bucket list adventures, join us as we dive into the sights, sounds, and stories of our favorite destinations.
So grab your passport, pack your bags, and let's embark on this journey together. Welcome to the last episode of 2024 for Wanderlust and Wishes. We're going to do this bonus episode and go through a year in review for 2024 and looking forward to 2025.
Our own take on the Spotify Wrapped. Our own.
We have a lot of stats that we are really proud of and excited about and can't wait to continue to grow into 2025. For 2024, this will be our 34th episode. So we have 34 episodes since May 29th, I believe, was when the first one dropped in 2024. And since then, we've done 34 episodes. So that's exciting.
We have been listened to in 137 cities / sometimes it says I'm in Columbus, sometimes it says I'm in the suburbs. Who knows?
Yeah, it picks it up differently depending on the GPS.
So those are Columbus, Ohio, the greater Charlotte, North Carolina area. So Charlotte, Hickory, and Fort Mill, Broken Arrow, Oklahoma, Stockholm, Sweden, Murfreesboro, Tennessee, and Frankfurt, Germany.
We have been listened to in 14 different countries, which blows my mind. Outside of the United States, our top 5 are Sweden, Germany, Canada, Mexico, and Singapore.
Norway is like sneaking up right there on Singapore too. So that's fun.
Yeah, it's just crazy to me that we're being listened to in all these different countries across the world. It's just exciting. Yay.
If you do not listen in English and you have to deal with the translations, I'm sorry for all the translations that probably come from my voice. Next, we have top episodes. If you haven't listened to these, go back and listen because they are the ones that keep getting hit over and over again. So our first episode, our Get to Know Each Other. That one was kind of rough now that I think about it, but we've come a long way.
Yes, it was.
Oops. We've learned a lot, guys. Our second was episode 26, when our kiddos plan their own Disney trips. That one's popular for very good reason. The next one was episode 2. You can only choose one, Epcot World Showcase Edition. Then there's episode 14, Traveling with Kids. That has been one of our top performers since the beginning, since the day we pushed that one out.
Yeah. And I honestly, I share that one a lot. If I see something, if somebody's asking for tips or questions or something on Facebook, in a Facebook group or a mom group, I send that one out for sure.
And then to round out the top 5 would be episode 3, Disneyland and Disney World Differences. And I feel like we could do a part 2 to this so easily.
Yeah.
So
that one was fun.
That one was fun.
Okay. So the next thing that we want to do is cover our own favorites. This was really hard. As you all know, as you've listened to You Can Only Pick One episode, I struggle with picking one thing. I don't always follow the rules. So this was really hard. I really like the You Can Only Choose One episodes. We've done a couple of different parks so far. I love those. It makes me miss the parks because we talk about the different things, but it also kind of like fills a hole in my heart because I'm not in the parks and I get to talk about it and I get to think about what we do when we're there. So I love those. I loved the All Things Harry Potter episode that we did for Universal Orlando. I'm really excited to go back in February to experience that again. And then I loved our episodes that we had with guest agents, the D23 recap that we did with Cassie, and also the Alani episode that we did with Danny.
I also really loved the club level one with Lindsay and Leslie.
Yes.
Those two were such a hoot.
That was so fun. That was so fun.
Thank you to all of our guests. That was where my other one was the one with the kids. Harper has been begging, and anytime we get in the car now, she's like, can I listen to myself on your podcast?
She definitely stole the show. She was so funny.
Creating a monster.
She was so funny. So next we're going to talk about where we've traveled this year.
If you would have told me at 2020 in January of 2024 that I would have had as much travel on my itinerary as I actually did, I would have thought you were crazy. But it turned out to be quite the busy year of travel for us. And they all seemed very last minute. I don't know why I'm my own worst travel agent. So we did spring break at Walt Disney World in March. I went to Cancun in June and toured a bunch of all-inclusives. That was so fun. Walt Disney World again in June for our annual meeting. And then from there, I went to Isle of Palms in Charleston, South Carolina in July. Those 3 weeks were just like madness.
I was going to say that like month into like from June into July, Krystle was like, what is happening? So much going on.
I didn't sleep in my own bed maybe a handful of times for all of June, I feel like. And then Disneyland with the Oogie Boogie Bash in September. That was a fun one. And then we've been kind of quiet because hockey season started, and that is our life right now.
For me, we did Christmas and New Year's at Walt Disney World last year, so 2023 into 2024. And so part of our trip was at the end of 2023, and then part of it was into 2024, I think through like maybe the 4th or 5th of January. That was so awesome. We did Walt Disney World, the Fantastical Vacations annual meeting in June, and we also visited Universal. Krystle and I did 2 days at Universal while we were there. And then in July, we did a family trip to Universal again, and we were able to experience Volcano Bay in addition to the other 2 parks, which was really fun. We went to Seabrook Island in August. We typically try to get to Seabrook Island at least once a year. It's so beautiful. It's very, very close to Isle of Palms. So it's basically on like a sister island from Isle of Palms where Krystle goes. And then we went to Walt Disney World in October with my 2 daughters for my oldest daughter's birthday and with my mom. So that was super fun.
Looking forward to next year. I don't have as much booked as I would like, but as we all saw for 2024, who knows what could happen. Currently, I have a trip. Well, we're going to Universal in February for our agency annual meeting. And then in April, John and I are going to the Dominican Republic to a all-inclusive. It's so hard for him and I just to get away. That's not just like a little weekend road trip. Yeah. We always feel guilty and take the kids. So we're doing it. It's booked. We're going without them. They can deal with it. And then we usually try to do some sort of beach trip over the summer, but we don't have anything official right now, which we usually do by now. So I'm a little nervous about that. I don't know what we're doing. And then we have lots of ideas for possibly something in December. And that's kind of it for right now. But I'm trying to get on a cruise this year, so we'll see.
Like Krystle, I have the Fantastical Vacations annual meeting at Universal Orlando in February. I will most likely try to squeeze in at least a day at Walt Disney World while I'm there. And then we have Vero Beach Resort planned for July. We're using DVC points, so we may potentially switch it up to Hilton Head just because it's closer. But I really think the girls will like Vero Beach better because it is actually situated on the beach and it has its own private beach area right there in front of the resort. It's just a longer drive. And then we have Disney Cruise and Walt Disney World during our fall break in October. Really excited about that. Trying to convince Krystle to also come on that cruise.
Don't convince me. I'd already be there.
And then I'm really, really trying to get to Disneyland. I don't know how I'm going to do it or when I'm going to do it, but I want to be able to go and experience 70th anniversary celebration. I would love to be able to go to one of the parks at Christmas again. So I might be able to do both of those and plan a Disneyland trip at the holidays next year. We'll see. I'm still trying to figure out how I'm going to do that and convince the hubby that we need to go.
So definitely a lot of fun things on the books. This raises the question though, how do you guys like to hear from us from our trips? Do you like hearing like a pre-trip report, post-trip report, on the goes.
Or a combination of all three.
Yeah, we're still trying to play with the best way to do that without like overdoing it and over focusing on one trip for 3 or 4 different episodes. So let us know what you think.
For 2025, we thought we would talk through or what our travel predictions are for 2025. I think that I don't think it's not necessarily like a big secret or anything. So I feel like cruising will continue to be the number one travel destination, especially for families. It's just an all-in-one package. And you don't have to unpack to be able to go to multiple places. Everything's included for the most part. So I think it's going to continue. The other thing I think is that Universal Orlando is going to really start giving Walt Disney World a run for their money with Epic Universe. They're adding 4 new, very distinct lands, 2 new value hotels, and then 1 deluxe hotel that is going to allow you to walk directly into Epic Universe. All that, added with along with what they currently have at a much lower price point for families. And Universal has been really clear that their goal is to be the destination for Orlando and not as an add-on or an afterthought. And they're really, really pushing and working on that. I think that Walt Disney World's going to have to step up their game to be able to compete with what Universal's able to offer for the same amount of money.
I completely agree. I think 2026 will be more Disney's year and 2025 will be Universal's year, just the way that things are staggered with how things are opening. Also, I also think cruising is going to be huge, especially with all the new ships. All the cruise lines are just cranking them out right now, like 2 or 3 a year. Another big thing I think will be big is destination travel, like we saw for the Eras tour. Even though that tour is over, I think it will continue for sporting events and for concerts because it kind of opened people's eyes to, oh, it's not that expensive to fly to Europe to go to a concert.
Right.
We're seeing that a lot with the overseas Disney parks. If you can get over there, tickets for like Disneyland Paris are like a quarter of what they are for like Walt Disney World.
Yeah, they're
So
cheaper.
I think we're going to be seeing a lot more of that.
Yeah, I would agree with you there. We looked at this is coming from the US News Best Vacation Rankings for 2025. We wanted to kind of look at what they're seeing as far as trending travel. And it kind of surprised me, but not that in the United States, the national parks are going to be it. They're going to be hugely popular with everybody traveling and definitely families. Glacier National Park is number 1 on the list. Other top destinations, Yellowstone, Maui. We just talked about Hawaii, getting out to Hawaii. It's so gorgeous there. Grand Canyon and Yosemite. Those actually are all top destinations for my family. We want to be able to visit a national park at least once a year. We did not get that done this year, so we definitely need to kind of try to figure out what we're going to do for next year. Potentially plan a really big trip for 2026. That's something that my husband loves, is going to the national parks.
I'm actually not surprised by this at all, especially since I grew up in Southern Utah, right near a bunch of those parks. But I am kind of salty that none of the Utah parks are on here because they reign supreme. But my favorite is never on any list. So Bryce Canyon deserves a shout out because it is the most beautiful.
It is very beautiful. Actually, Zion was my favorite. I loved it. I would go back there again and again.
I need to go dig and see where it pulled this year for 2024 as far as visitors, because Zion has like a permit system, so they're always so busy and always up there because it's Angel's Landing is like one of the top. So
we did not even
attempt.
We did not attempt to do that, but it is something I think that would be cool to do. But we were definitely not prepared, and our girls, I don't know that our girls would have been able to do it.
I did plan a very fun trip out there for a client this year and her pictures, and I have some friends in the area that do tours and stuff, so I hooked them up together and just some of their pictures. I was just like, oh,
To cover some regional highlights, in Mexico, Isla Mujeres ranks #1 for its beaches, cuisine, and nightlife. Mexico is definitely a great location in general for the affordability.
and this is right there near Cancun. Like it's close. And I guess budget travel is probably on in for 2025.
Yeah.
And if you want to be budget, you're not going to be going to the Caribbean says Turks and Caicos leads, followed by St. Lucia and the British Virgin Islands. You're not going to be going there if you're on a budget.
No.
Hate to break it to you. You're going to be going to Mexico or Jamaica. So add this to your list for Mexico. So, like I said, the Caribbean, Turks and Caicos, followed by St. Lucia and British Virgin Islands. Then we have Canada, Banff, always top of the list. This is on my list. John and I were just talking about we want to get to Banff and we want to go see Lake Louise and like the blue water and the Instagram pictures. You know which ones I'm talking about.
In Europe, the Swiss Alps is #1 again, with Rome and Venice also featured.
Asia, we have Mount Fiji, followed by Tokyo and Palawan.
And then to round things out, we have Africa with Tanzania. It leads because of its wildlife and the cultural experiences there. And then for Central and South America, Machu Picchu secures the top spot. So those all sound amazing and are definitely things I would love to experience.
Me too. So if you need help hitting up any of these places, we have suppliers in all these cities and we would love to help you.
Absolutely.
We would love to hear what your favorite episode was this year. So let us know. We also have a little giveaway going on if you leave us a review. So we're going to run that through the middle of January. So just send us a screenshot because it takes Apple a couple days to load them and we can't see who you are. So we want to give you credit. So we have some fun things to send your way if you leave us a review.
Yay. We hope that you have been able to spend a lot of quality time with your friends and family during the holidays in 2024 and that you've had a fantastic year. We look forward to many episodes to come in 2025. Thank you so much for listening. We'll see you in 2025. Bye. Thanks for tuning in to another episode of Wanderlust and Wishes.
If you enjoyed today's episode, don't forget to subscribe and leave us a review on your favorite podcast platform.
And remember, the world is full of wonders waiting to be explored. Until next time, happy travels.
Bye for now.